Så, nu börjar det dyka in lite mer folk här. Kul. Fick frågan direkt där. Kommer Travis hålla webbinariet istället för Peter? Ni ser att Peter är lite grann på resande fot. På väg ner till...
Jag tänkte ta med Travis, för hans presentation i Amsterdam på vår Evercore-lansering var magisk. Så jag tänkte att jag kan inte göra det lika bra, så jag tänkte ta med vår stjärna. Så han kommer att hålla den, men jag kommer att vara supporting-cast här.
Och du är på lite resande fot.
Det är det också. De första Evercore-skåpen har anlänt i Norden, så att vi har massa installationer denna och nästa vecka. Jag och Henrik ska ut på, så att det är därför.
Ja. Vad kul. Vad bra hörni, det är 9:02. Jag tänker att vi sätter igång den här showen. Så vill bara hälsa alla välkomna. Jättekul att ni är här. Dagens webbinar där vi ska prata, vi har bjudit in Solis. De ska prata om deras senaste residential-släpp här då, FlexHome. Mitt namn är Martin Ragnarsson. Jag jobbar här som produktchef på KP. Som sagt, jättekul att ni har kommit hit, tagit er tid att lyssna in. Vi kommer gå ner på djupet på Solis nya batterier och spetsa verkligen öronen. Det kommer bli marknadens hetaste släpp här under 2026, så att, jättekul att de är här. Och med oss, som ni ser här, så har vi med oss Peter som är på resande fot, och så har vi Travis från Solis. De får introducera sig själva här inom kort. Jag ska bara dra några snabba saker innan vi lämnar över micken då. Presentationen kommer ske på engelska. Men det går jättebra att ställa era frågor här i chatten på svenska, så kan jag hjälpa till med översättningen. Ibland skjuter jag in frågorna direkt under presentationen, och ibland kommer jag vänta med vissa av frågorna till efter webbinariet, där vi har en lite mer utpekad Q&A. Så, just det, vi spelar även in webbinariet, det går att se i efterhand. Det skickas en länk via mail här när vi har avslutat. Med det sagt, welcome Peter and Travis. Peter, foremost, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I could do that. Hi everybody, this is Peter from Solis. I think most of you know me. I'm the country manager or region manager for the Nordics. Usually, right now I'm on the traveling. That's why I brought also Travis along. He did a fantastic presentation of our Evercore launch in Amsterdam beginning of the year. And we see them coming out now in the market, which is fantastic. We are now the second launch in our Solis storage family, which is the residential batteries, which we will go through today. And we estimate that they will be on the shelves in August, September. So right after summer, when you're back from the breaks, you should start installing them. But I'll pass it to Travis, who is our product manager in all over Europe, or the European product manager, and I'll pass it on to you.
Thanks, Peter. Okay, first of all, apologies for my English and not speaking Swedish next time, potentially. I'm going to go through some slides and show you a few things. I've added a lot just specifically for your market in Sweden. I always say to people, if you want to watch what the world is doing in solar and who's in front of everybody, it's Sweden. It's always been that way since I've started working here in 2020. I worked before in the US, so I've been with Solis for about 11 years now, 10 and a half, and I love Solis. But so let's go through it, and I will try to give you as much information that's useful. And I added a few little tidbits about our low voltage battery, because the high voltage battery and low voltage battery stack are similar. As you know, and as we know, the residential energy storage market is in steady increasing year after year. So we have a market. We need the market to have business. And electricity is now the future, especially solar and moving electricity across different countries. And so, as you know, Nord Pool, I was there a few years ago. We started this discussion on Nord Pool, and now it's the bread and butter. And Nord Pool has now moved to 15 minutes. And so we're trading now. Before it was every 30 minutes. Now we're at 15-minute intervals. So we're seeing a lot of opportunities especially in the Nordics, especially in Sweden, with these crazy dynamic prices between different times of the day and ability to trade energy based off of that. But there's also other things that come into play when you have this type of dynamic tariff scheme, and I'll talk more about that later. So what we're seeing now, what we did is we always analyze the market and what are people complaining about before you go into something. And then you try to fix those issues as well as you can with the technology that you have. So first of all, the safety risk, which is spelled wrong, apologies. Safety risk for overpressure swollen cells. We saw that a lot about 6-7 years ago, especially with what was the technology? Nickel. I can't say the brand. I don't want to call them out, but the older technology of battery, the older. Peter, help me out. Not lithium ion. LFP. Sorry, not LFP. The one before that. Those
it's
cells.
standing still. Go ahead. I can't even remember.
No worries. Those cells, they all often swollen when they got too hot because they had a higher potential of thermal runaway. And then unbalanced cells cause a lot of problems with extending the life of the battery. And then poor soldering, low quality cells, those are all things. And then we're moving on to system performance. The IP rating of all the first batteries were like IP20. Low power at low temperatures, and that's caused by the quality of the cell and the internal resistance, compatibility with the inverter. In the beginning, it was only like a couple brands that were doing batteries, like a Pylon was one of the first ones, and then a few others that came into the market, and there was a lot of issues with inverters at that time. And then intelligence of the system, the system itself could not talk with each other. And then there's a lot of different configurations that you had. But now we're trying to take away all of those pain points. So this is kind of what we have right now. We're releasing into the market. It's a big deal for us because, we've long wanted to bring batteries to the market, but we saw that there were so many battery manufacturers. There was over 1,000 at one point. And now we're coming into the market because our distributors, our installers told us, you have to get in here. There's too many problems with the batteries that are in the market, and we need solutions. And so we were basically forced to come into the market with our own battery. And now we're here, we like it, but I'll show you what we have in store. So we've done over 300,000 storage installations across 100 countries. And we worked with over 100 batteries. And that basically gave us a lot of knowledge on how to do it right. So this is the point of this slide. So I'm going to go through each of these points and how we have solved the common problems. So we're going to first talk about all-around safety design. Now, if you have questions, please. Yeah, NMC, right? That was Anders. NMC. That was it. Nickel, magnesium, cobalt. That was causing a lot of issues in the beginning. Thank you, Anders. I appreciate that. So the all-around safety design. If you have questions during any of these points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, please you can either put them in the chat. I think they can only talk in chat, right? So put them in the chat, and I'll try to get to them. Okay. So the one thing we saw that we need to do, we need to have a premium battery cell. We need to spend that extra money to have that cell. And so we went out to about 6 to 7 different top battery cells when we analyzed them, and then we came with our cell that we liked. And then we have also a backup cell just in case something happens with that company. And then we do a dual soldering inspection. You have to do this. This is one of the big points. That way you don't have any issues down the road, because the solder can crack and cause you basically a failure in the field. So looking at the pack level hardware within, we have the explosion relief valve up top. We have the DC overcurrent isolator, and the pack aerosol, DC fuses, and then we have this thing called aerogel, which is like a thermal insulation between the plates, and that will add to our safety. So we looked at all of the manufacturers, and basically none of them had DC overcurrent fuses. So a lot of them had that isolator, but none of them had that fuse, and that's the extra protection to prevent any overcurrent issues. Because if you have overcurrent issues on the battery, you can actually damage your inverter and cause a double failure. So next, we're going to look at long-term reliability. So we actually only source A+ battery cells. This is I shouldn't probably say this, but we have a couple weeks ago, the battery manufacturer, the cell manufacturer sent us a batch, and we actually had to send it back because they didn't meet our criteria, because we need to have that low internal resistance. See that 0.1 mega ohms? That is one of the main features that you need to measure. So when the cells come in, we test them right away before we even put them in assembly. And if you have that low internal resistance, you can have that higher charge rate at low temperatures. If you see there on the left, at -10 Celsius, you can get a lot more higher charge rate, and then we get better cycles. So at SOH is state of health. That's 84% at 5,500 cycles, and then 7,000 cycles at 70% SOH. So you're around 19-20 years of cycles. And if you cycle every day. If you're not cycling every day, you could get potentially 25-26 years out of the battery. And then when you go really below 70% SOH, the balance of the cells becomes very difficult for any BMS to handle. And so we really can't calculate after 70% what's going to happen. So that's why if you look at all of the warranty documents, they're all really based around that 70%. Some even put 80%, that 70 that point, because below it's very, very difficult to say how long it will last after that. And then one very important part, especially if you're holding batteries in warehouse, is this part where it's lower self-discharge rate. That lower self-discharge rate basically means if you have that really low internal resistance, then if you hold it, say, in a warehouse, it really slowly discharges. If you have a higher internal, it'll discharge in like a month, and then you have to recharge it in the warehouse. Or if you have it installed and say you travel somewhere and you come back and your battery will be flat because it's discharging in too fast as it's just standing still. And so ours, we actually ship them around 40% SOC. I get this question a lot. So we ship them at 40% SOC, and they can actually stay in a warehouse almost up to a year. So that is a really, really good point for having A+ grade battery cells. If you're going to buy a cheap battery, expect cheap results. And then this point is really interesting because the old kind of what happened? Okay, the old kind of design was these small 30 amp hour cells, and when you go to a bigger cell, you have, because you need consistency across the cells, right? You need to have it consistent. So when you go to a higher 100 amp hour, and we also use 314s, but you need to use 100 amp hour to get high power. I think I talk about that a little bit later. But you need to have consistency amongst the cells. Otherwise, you get all these unbalances, and then your life cycle just goes down quite fast. So you can only even sometimes only get 8 to 9 years out of that battery. But if you have very balanced cells and you only have room for a low amount of failure, like in this point when you have only 16 cells, then you can increase your life cycle quite a bit. Now for you, one of the most important slides in Sweden, especially for battery heating. And then if you need to install outside IP66 along with the C5. The C5 basically just means anti-corrosion. So if you're getting sand, not sand for you, but maybe if you're near the water or any type of corrosion that could happen, maybe the snow sitting on the battery, or any type of
Or
situations
even close
like
to
that.
the shore, like the
Yeah.
west coast, we
Yeah.
have this the water. Yeah.
Exactly. So we really built this battery specifically for the Nordics because that's one of the toughest situations to handle. And now we're going to talk about the complete energy ecosystem. So the inverters are on the side. I only put the 3-phase inverters here, and then we have the low voltage stack right here, the wall floor mounted. That's a low voltage stack, and then we have the wall mount, and then the stack is on the right here. So there's a low voltage and a high voltage stack. Now we do have I'll show you later. We have a 3-phase low voltage. I'm going to show you that. Now I want to show you actually a live in our platform if I'm allowed to do that. So let's see if this works. See if it brings it up. Let me try to reshare it. Okay, can you see my screen? Yeah, I think you can. So the battery detail I wanted to show you here. This is a live battery. So right here I can see cell voltages, right? And I can see all my cells, and I can see the voltages across time. Isn't that cool? And now I can go to cell temperature, so you can see if there's any issues. Okay, I got 41, 42 degrees here. So you can see over time if you're charging or discharging at different temperatures. And you can see maybe there's an issue here on temperature 7 and 8. I don't know. This is a test lab, so anything can happen there. But I love this. This is really cool. All right, let me go back to my slides. All right. Yeah, so we have a unified platform where you can do firmware update directly to the battery, which is super important. And then you can also see all what's going on with the battery, temperatures and cell voltages. Okay, this slide can go on for years, but I'm trying to make it easier. The main thing when you're selling batteries with the inverters now is you need to be able to do all of these different type of applications. Now, I wanted to talk more about the electricity, so I need to start with peak shaving. So peak shaving, especially for Sweden, you need to have that 17 kilowatts peak shaving so you don't blow your fuses. Now, I wanted to show you how that works real quick. And apologies for switching back to the slides. Okay, so in Solis AI here, you see that? This is a real plant, Solis AI. So I'm going to click Solis AI, and then if you see the peak shaving here, now I can just set this to 17 if I want, right here. And then I can protect my fuse in my home, and then I can hit OK, and then I'll hit it. And now I wanted to next talk about the trading market. So here, if you see on this plant, we have the pricing coming in from Nord Pool. So you can see that, and you can see also the SOC. So you can see the pricing, and then what you can do is set the AI to do its thing, and then it will tell you exactly what it's doing. Okay, here I'm feeding a priority, and it'll tell you why it's discharging. It'll tell you why it's in self-use, and that is the future, my friend. That is exactly. So you could just set some parameters, and then it's good to go. And that is how the Solis AI is working right now. Okay, let me go back to the slides. And then dynamic tariffs, we also have we give it to you for free, and retrofitting existing PV plants. I wanted to talk about that real quick. Peter, do I have enough time? Sorry.
Yes, sorry. There. Yeah, you have enough time. Go.
Okay. So the retrofit is really neat situation. So say you have a inverter here, right? But say I have an SMA inverter or a Fronius or whatever you use, Solar Edge, it doesn't matter. So say I have a Solar Edge inverter and I have a connection to the grid and I only can do 20 kilowatts. So what I can do is I want to add a battery, but I want to add all of this other things. So I can buy a 20 kilowatt hybrid from Solis, and then I could put that old Solar Edge SMA Fronius into the Solis smart port, right? So to see this top one up here, right? This PV wind tide inverter, I can put that into the smart port and then also have my backup port. So I have still my backup port. I have a PV Solar Edge in my smart port. I'm still at 20 kilowatts connecting to the grid because this 20 kilowatt Solar Edge is connected to my Solis, and then the Solis 20 kilowatt is connected to the grid. I'm still okay. I'm never going to go over 20 kilowatts, right? Because if, say, the Solar Edge is putting out 20 kilowatts of power, my Solis will turn all the way down to 0 if the battery's full and if the loads are consumed. So that is one really amazing selling point of the inverter. Next, we have our SG Ready heat pump to turn on the heat pumps. And then for the installer friendly design, let's go into that. Point number 4. On the batteries, we all put handles. On the boxes, we put handles. On the really heavy batteries, the low voltage ones, we put wheels on the bottom. This is the stack right here. Bing, bong, boom. There you go. Look at that. That's super cool. Super easy to install. Connect directly to the HV ports, and then hook up the can, and you're done. So as far as expandability on the FlexHome, you can do 8 stacks and 4 in parallel. So you can do 160 kilowatt hours. On the low voltage, you can do 8 16 kilowatt hours. So you can do 128 kilowatt hours. For commissioning, super easy now. It's actually easier now because we have a wizard, and you just click on the wizard and it'll take you through step by step. You don't have to think much. But you also can do the regular step-by-step Bluetooth commissioning, or you can do it through the display. Super simple. Okay, let's get into performance on point number 5. All right, this is a really important slide. Let me talk about it just a couple minutes. So when you do, what's really important for Sweden and for, say, working with like Checkwatt or Flower, Canel, you need to have a high discharge capability. So we have, the market says you need at least 1C. And so what we did was we did the 100 amp hour cells, which can do the 1C. And we can even get 1C if you're at 40% SOC. See over here, you can get 1C all the way down to -20, which is crazy. So you really need to do that to do this, either the frequency trading market or the dynamic tariffs. Next, all of our inverters have like this max usable PV power. And let me explain it. It's not probably what you think, but just because an inverter says it's a 10 kilowatt inverter doesn't mean that that can't process higher power. Okay, so say I have a Solis 10K, I can actually charge the battery. See, it says right here, charge the battery at 10 kilowatts and also send 6 kilowatts to the load. So it's technically a 16 kilowatt internally, but it only can inject 10 kilowatts to the grid. So that is one really huge selling point and benefit of buying the Solis. We have 21 amp inputs, so you can use this product probably for another 3 to 4 years, depending on what panels do, but we'll be okay, I think, for another 3 to 4 years. And then I already talked about the AI, but I wanted to show you a little bit about what's happening, especially this one point down here on negative pricing optimization. Negative pricing is something kind of new in the past couple of years. With so much solar coming in to the territories, especially in in the Netherlands, there's a lot of solar, but they are having a situation where the price of electricity is going negative. So we built the AI to help with that situation, because if you inject power in some utilities, if you inject power at negative pricing, you pay for that power that you inject. So we have a system which is monitoring, the AI is monitoring the price of power, and once it goes negative, we set it, okay, charge the battery, charge your EV charger, turn on the heat pump, do everything to charge everything in the house. And then if that's all maximized, then turn the inverter all the way down to nothing. So the negative pricing is something that's you're going to see a lot more in the future too. So look out for that. And then we have, we just added weather forecasting, and then we also added SOC forecasting. But then I wanted to show you this here because we are changing to this in July, and we'll have, this is what we have a white version, but the dark version is coming in July. So that's pretty interesting. And then the app will also change alongside it, and you can see your revenue maximization logic, which I always love to look at. And then we did some studies with the AI, and we did some studies actually in the Estonian households, and we found that we can get a savings over 302%. It's not going to be that way for everybody, but we have over, actually this is a wrong number, we have over 9,000 now using Solis AI. And of course, we have to talk about EMS VPP companies, and for Nordics, we're working with these companies here: Canal, Check Watt, Flower should be here, Neowatt, Air, and Tibber. And there's more coming. I wanted to talk a little bit about this. This is a 3-phase low voltage. So 8 to 18K low voltage. And then you compare that with a 5, 10, and 16. And it has 2 battery ports, so you can put 2 16s on it. It's a really good solution. And that's available now. And then for a high voltage, we have the the FlexHome. The FlexHome is different. The FlexHome low voltage is on the left, and the FlexHome high voltage is on the right. And the high voltage goes with our 3 through 12K and the 12 through 20K. And then also we are going to put it with the 30 through 60K. And then the low voltage stack goes with the 8 through 18K. And that's ready now. I'm only missing 1 certificate on the low voltage. So everything else is ready. Quickly, delivery and after service, how to order for the high voltage stack. You need to order the control box, which is basically the BMS, and then the HV battery modules. It's the same thing on the LV stack. And then the wall mount, this is all accessories are in the package. So they come with the wall mount, the bracket, the cable. This is one of the biggest questions, is 2 meters long, and we had it. That's what everybody wanted, because a lot of competitors, they do 1 or 1.5. So people said they wanted 2 meters, so we did that. And then the CAN cable is 2 meters. And then standard features are heating, which is important for you. Everything else I talked about, but the heating is most important, is standard. After sales is pretty good in the Nordics. We now have 3 on the phones and about 10 on the emails. And yeah, we have service everywhere, and that is it. Sorry, hopefully I didn't go too fast.
Great stuff. Thank you, Travis, for a great presentation.
Thank you.
Regarding the low voltage, we here at KP have not yet seen any requests from our customer base on the low voltage. I know that it comes with another installation that we are used to here, maybe in the Nordics.
Right.
So we are not yet taking any decisions to go with the low voltage in our storage, in our warehouse.
Yeah, it's interesting because it comes at a lower price point, but then you don't get the efficiency of the high voltage.
Mm.
But I thought that most people would stick with the high voltage, but I'm seeing in Germany a lot of people are going with low voltage, and that surprised me. I actually didn't have the certificates ready for them, so I had to go back and redo them. So it's interesting to see how the markets are changing and the way that our CEO believes. And I don't necessarily think it's relevant for the Sweden, but because of the frequency trading market, that you need to have that high voltage, high efficiency, high discharge current. Like you need to have that available, for that market. But the low voltage can still work at a lower price point. So I wanted to show you that it's there
Yeah.
in the customers.
Yeah, and if there is any customers here attending to this webinar, having questions or requests for low voltage, please reach out to us. Let's discuss. I mean, it's never too late to enter this into our to our demand list. So we are all ears.
Definitely.
We have one question here regarding in the chat regarding the a wireless smart meter, basically.
Mhm.
Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I see it. So yeah, for that, the question is, how do we connect a smart meter for distances 50 plus meters? Can you offer a wireless LoRa meter bridge? Yes, we just put one on the price list. It's made by Chint, and we have done testing with it. We had to alter our meter protocol to make it work, and we've done a lot of testing. Now I'm actually testing a 50 kilowatt hybrid in France with the LoRa this week. And yeah, so it's working. I just put it on the price list. It's actually really good price compared to what's in the market. When will AI be available throughout the whole Finland? There are parts of Finland where the correct tariffs are currently not available and so is Cloud AI. I'm not aware of that, but I'm doing testing now for all countries with a company called Flatpeak. And that's actually really cool. What that basically does is it gives you so you have Nord Pool, right? That kind of sits on top, and that's wholesale. And then below that, you have retail pricing. So, Martin, who's your energy provider?
Here, where I live.
Yeah, where you live.
I live in Västerås, so it's Mälardalen Energi.
Right. So basically, Flatpeak will give you that price, and it's different than Nord Pool, right? So Flatpeak, what we're working on now, we're doing testing across multiple plants across Europe. It gives you that retail pricing, so that will be even better for AI. And I can check. I don't really know when that will be ready, but we're testing it now to 300 plants. So I say maybe 1 to 2 months. We can, if you have an account, I can do a test with it. So if you have a client that has problems right now, I can set them up right now.
Cool. I'll reach out to you, Jan Erik. Maybe we can do some testing there.
Yeah, so I could show you like in Finland what we're doing. So these are all the energy price companies. You see this? So these are all. So even if I go to Sweden, right? So which one did you say you have?
Mälardalen. So go down a little bit. Maybe we can see it soon.
I'm not sure. I don't see it.
I don't see it either. No, it's Mölndal. Oh. Bad example, though.
Okay. Well, these are all the ones that we have, and so we work with the system, but we can add anything that you have. It's just but then that's what we're doing right now is implementing this system. So say your customers having this, then they can log in directly because just because you have Nord Pool, maybe the energy pricing has different pricing structures. And so then we need to have that, basically have that really intricate data, that perfect data. Otherwise, it's not going to work as you want it to work.
Steve is asking, let's try out Levio, the one that you have down.
Yeah, right here. Yeah, definitely. If you give me a plant that's located there, we can do it.
All right. Okay. I I need to. I'm not as a TV chef, I don't have it already done in the oven. So maybe we will set up a new webinar for those tests. But very interesting, very interesting. Let's maybe take another webinar.
Yeah, this is the new way. We also have a backup if this doesn't work out perfectly. But yeah, we spend a lot of money to get this data, but we know it's so important, and we still don't charge customers for this.
One more question is popping up here from Jacob. What is the energy throughput in the Solis batteries, and how long are they? Is the warranty?
Okay, 1 second. I can tell you. So the warranty. Let me bring it up. The warranty is limited at the warranty is kind of going through a restructure. So we put out our first warranty document to the market, and so you're going to get 6,500 cycles for the warranty. And right now we have technically 2 warranties, one for energy trading and one for just self-consumption. And I don't want to put any bad information out because we're redoing it. We're redoing it, and I'll have a new document this week. So I don't want to say exactly what it's going to be because it's going to be better than what it is now. But we do have a document that you can share with your customers, but you just need to tell them it's going to be different because our first iteration is having adjustments. So I don't want to go further past that, but 6,500 cycles is what you tell your customers, and if you do the math on that, it's about like 19 years ish.
That's great. And maybe just a quick comment from my side. We have ordered from Solis quite large amount of batteries and BMSs, of course, into our warehouse. I know that they are soonish on the ship from China to us. So we're looking at a start delivery date. I don't want to promise anything right now. It's a lot of things going on around the world here. But hopefully, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, Peter or Travis, but somewhere-ish September.
For arrival?
Yeah. For distributing as well from our end.
I think that we are looking somewhere August, September, realistically, to have them on your shelves. This is what the working goal now or before. We just don't know with the like you said, with what's going on in the world with the shipping, because everything we noticed has been pushed and delayed a little bit. So mass production has started. So it's like about 6 weeks the mass production of the batteries, and then about 2 months on the ship. So give or take 3 months from now, that's 3.5. That's what we are estimating.
Great.
Yeah. So
a lot of this information is also going to be visible in our web shop within a couple of days. We're just finalizing a few things. So if there is any questions, please reach out to us at KP. We will help you get the information that you need. And hopefully soonish you can place orders as well. Even though we don't have it, we can sign up your order upon arrival then.
And the latest document in the appendix for the warranty, it does have the throughput there. I think somebody put it in chat, but it's 19 megawatt hours. But somebody took it off, I think. But it's at 10 years at 19 megawatt hours. But like I said, there's some phrases in there that we didn't, that we were removing. So I don't want to put it out too much. Like we are making it the best for the customers. Like there's, you know, if you look at what's selling in the market, and if you look at battery warranty documents, they're like a scam in my opinion. So there's the battery companies try to figure out a way to like get out of a warranty, and Solis has never been like that, ever. Would never try to get out of a warranty claim, you know, because we're long-term clients. That's what we'll always try to be, long-term, and our main purpose is to keep a good reputation, and that's my guiding light. Keep your reputation good and treat your customers right, and you will have business long-term. We're not trying to get out of us. If we have a problem, we'll fix it. So
sounds great. Yeah. I don't think we have any more questions in the chat at the moment. Anything from you, Peter, that you want to address, or should we start?
Okay, somebody said, is the warranty different if it's not plugged in? No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. You don't have to be plugged in.
Yep. Perfect. All right.
If you want good service, though, you need to be plugged in, because we won't be able to service you very well.
So one more question popped up. Will we be able to see what Solis AI is planning to do the next day when the prices come from Nord Pool, or when the prices are set from Nord Pool?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the beauty about Nord Pool and the energy pricing. It's like a free trade stock trading market, because you know what's going on. You know when you can make money, when you can, sell your energy.
One big unique selling point, or USP as we say it in short in Swedish, is with the heating that you put into your modules, since we are having some regulations stating that maximum 20 kilowatt hours are to be installed indoors. With these heating elements, this will not longer be an issue. So purchasing Solis batteries makes the installment very much more easier for you as an installer, but also for the customers. You don't really have to take that into account then, because you can place it both indoors and outdoors,
right?
Which is a great selling point for this.
Oh, for sure. Like I said, that battery, especially the HV stack, is made for Sweden, because it used to be 5.1. And so we went back and said, okay, we need to make it 5.0, or we're going to cut off our feet in Sweden, because we won't be able to go to that max point. And that's what customers want. We want that to hit that 20 kilowatt hour. And if you go over by one, the inspectors will kick you, will tell you to take off a stack.
I think Jarmo had a question, but I thought that you were answering that if the warranty is different if it's not plugged into the grid. But you said it doesn't have to be plugged in.
No, right? It does not.
Exactly.
There's a lot of companies, I think, like Tesla, that requires it, and a few others that require it.
Okay, good. Right on time, I would say. Thank you all for participating. I will say a few words in Swedish now, just to be super clear. Det är bara att höra av sig till oss på KP om det är så att ni har några frågor. Vi kommer lägga upp de här produkterna inom kort, om några dagar, på vår hemsida, vår webbshop. Vi väntar på några dokument, som sagt, och vi väntar såklart på leveranserna också, som dyker upp här någon gång i slutet av augusti, september-ish, fingers crossed. Så, men tveka inte att höra av er. Är det så att ni vill ha en special sittning här med någon av oss på KP, eller tillsammans med Peter eller Travis eller någon annan, så hojta till, så sätter vi upp det. Inga konstigt. Peter, har du några avslutande ord?
Tack så jättemycket bara för att ni kom och lyssnade, och tack KP för att ni arrangerade. And in English, thank you Travis for holding it.
Yes, thank you very much, Travis.
No problem.
Great presentation.